This is your Monday Momentum. Extended all week. Morning primer from the Mindset and Motivation Monday on KGCI. Real Estate on Air.
Elevate your life. Elevate your business. Welcome to the Elevated Results Podcast.
Welcome to Elevated Results. I'm Tennille Zellweger, your host. And our topic today is elevate and prosper. So we know that everything comes down to the power of your mindset. Success at anything is 80% your mindset and 20% the strategy, the how-to. So how do you elevate your mindset? How do you unlock the potential that lies dormant within your mindset? So it all comes down to utilizing different strategies and tools that are going to help you to elevate your mindset so that you can accomplish your dreams and your goals. So this is a guide to help you step from a scarcity-based mindset to an abundance-based mindset. So often in business, many different entrepreneurs, they start out and their first thought is, how am I going to get clients? Who is going to buy my product? Who am I going to help in my business? So no matter what business you're in, if it's a product-based business or a client-based business, you're probably thinking, where do my clients come from, right? Now, if you start your business with a scarcity-based mindset, there's going to be that lack of knowing where your clients are coming from, where you're going to find your clients. And so if you're out of alignment, again, with the way the universal guidance system works, if you're not in alignment and your beliefs aren't in alignment, you're not going to be attracting the right clients. You may actually be blocking yourself from attracting any of the clients into your business. So this is why they always say you work harder on yourself than you work on your business. Because if you're in alignment and you're in flow with the guidance system of a higher power, there's the law of attraction that is working. So first, you need to be really clear. Who is your client? Who are you trying to attract into your business? And how can you change your scarcity-based mindset to an abundance-based mindset? So we all have limiting beliefs. Often these beliefs were passed on to us by family or experiences, and they're not actually our beliefs. So this is where we want to get clear. What are our beliefs? Now, if you're familiar with the reticular activating system, Mel Robbins refers to this as the bouncer of your mind. So your reticular activating system's job is essentially, it's like a bouncer for your mind. So imagine if you're standing outside of a club and you're trying to get into the bar, and the bouncer says, no, you're not allowed in. Oh, yep, you're on the list. You're allowed in. That's what your reticular activating system's job is. So what you focus on, you're going to start to see more of. That's why you've probably noticed, if you've ever really wanted something in your business or even in your personal life, maybe you wanted a vehicle or you wanted an outfit or a purse, and then all of a sudden you start seeing it everywhere. That's because your reticular activating system is doing its job. It's getting what you're focusing on, and you are the boss. You are the bouncer of your mind, of your reticular activating system. So you need to be more mindful on what you're letting into your mindset. So again, we are like sponges. So what are you surrounding yourself with? What kind of TV are you watching? What are you listening to? Maybe now that you're driving, instead of listening to music, you're listening to this as some form of self-development, something that's going to help you to grow, to elevate your mindset. And again, when you start doing this, your reticular activating system is going to start focusing on finding more of what you're looking for. So this is the power of manifestation. You can manifest your nightmares and your worst dreams into fruition, or you can turn your dreams into your reality. You can actually manifest into fruition whatever it is that you want. But first, you need to be considerable about your reticular activating system. What thoughts are you letting through your mind? What are you focusing on? So when you think about money and you think about your business and you think about the financial future that you have set for yourself in your business, what are your first thoughts? Because again, we all have different beliefs. Some of these beliefs empower us and some of these beliefs disempower us. I remember growing up, my dad would always say, money doesn't grow on trees. Maybe if we have enough money, honey. And in my mind, I always thought that there wasn't enough. There was a lack mentality versus the abundant mentality. And this took me years to realize that this belief was ingrained in me, but it wasn't my belief. It was a belief passed on by my dad, which he probably got from someone else in a different experience. But through going through self-development and learning from other mentors and actually going through these different strategies that I learned that I had limiting beliefs. And these limiting beliefs were affecting my business. They were affecting what I thought I was capable of. They were affecting my mindset. So I want you to ask yourself, what are your beliefs when you think about right now, your business and your financial future? What are your beliefs? Are they limiting you or are they empowering you? So this is the power of, first you got to get clear. What are those beliefs? And I know Ed Mylett says this somewhere. And I mean, the guy's a very, very successful businessman. And someone asked him and said, do you ever just think that it's all going to go away? And he said, every day I still have that thought, because he grew up without anything. He grew up with nothing. And that's where it's a decision. We have a decision to make every single day. Which mindset, which mentality, which belief are we going to let lead our lives? Is it going to be the limiting beliefs, or is it going to be the empowering beliefs that are going to push us to unleashing our potential and accomplishing our goals in our business and in our personal life? So this is the power of, again, tapping into it. Become aware of what it is. Are they limiting you or are they empowering you? And when we really look at those limiting beliefs, how are they holding you back from unleashing your potential? So I know that I have a scarcity-based mindset. It often comes up where I think there's a lack mentality. And that can flow over into my business. That can flow over into your business. But it's the decision to wake up every single day and decide that you're going to change your mindset from scarcity-based to abundance, to knowing that there's more than enough business for all of us. Because when we're in alignment with who we are, we're going to be attracting the right people. So even if you have a business, and say in real estate, because I'm a realtor, there's thousands of realtors everywhere. But the truth is, none of them are me, and I'm not them. So when we're true to who we are and we're in alignment with that, we're going to attract the right clients, because we're really in flow with the guidance and the universal law of attraction, right? So this is the same thing. It comes down to our beliefs. So what do you believe about your business? What do you believe about you? And how are these really holding you back from unleashing your potential? And that's when I think to some of these beliefs, in some way, some of the beliefs that were passed on to me by my parents, where they always worked very, very hard. And so somewhere along the line, I picked up the belief that I had to work 24/7. I had to be a workhorse to be successful. And that in some ways drove me to success in my real estate business, because I had no balance and all I did was work. But at the same time, when I started to look and explore these beliefs, I realized that these beliefs weren't pushing me in the right direction in every way. I wasn't balanced, and I wasn't in an abundance mindset based on that either. So what are some of those beliefs that maybe creep up for you, that are still in the back of your psyche, that you've thought that you've let go, that are still lingering there? Because when we look at them, we can keep running away from them, but they're going to keep being shackles that are going to hold us there. They're prisoning us. They're putting us as prisoners until you become aware of it. And then you can decide and make a change about it. Then you can utilize proven tools and strategies to change those limiting beliefs, to freeing yourself to having them so that they can empower you and they can propel you forward. So it's not your fault. It's not our fault if we have limiting beliefs, because again, often these beliefs aren't even our beliefs. We pick them up somewhere along the line from family, friends, experiences, social media. There's so many different ways we can pick up these beliefs. But it's our responsibility, it's your responsibility, it's my responsibility to make a decision and change those beliefs. So if you want to elevate your mindset, it comes down to the power of what you're choosing to focus on and what you're choosing to believe. So you may even want to write this down. This is something that I do often, is I wrote out, what are those limiting beliefs? And then how can I change them to be empowering beliefs? So focusing on your business or focusing on your personal life, what are those limiting beliefs and how can we change them? How can we make them so that they can actually push us forward and really allow us to propel ourselves into the potential that lies within us? Because each of us has a different potential. Each of us has a different purpose. Les Brown says that when you pursue your purpose, you're in flow with the universal guidance system. And if you choose not to, you're disrupting the flow of the universal guidance system. So by you not stepping into your power and living your purpose, you're actually doing the world a disservice. Not only yourself, but everyone around you, because you have something to offer that no one else does. So those inspirations that you have, the excitement when you're happy, when you feel like you're in flow with the universe, and you feel like you're just in flow with yourself, those are metrics for you to lean into. That means that you are following your purpose and you are in flow with the universal guidance system. So keep leaning into those. Keep leaning into the things that bring you joy and ignite you and energize you, even if they're hard. But when you know that that's something that your soul's being called to do or that you're being guided to do, follow it. And sometimes in my life when I look back, when I didn't believe something, often it's because I didn't really want it and I was lying to myself. Like I think back to when I started real estate in Calgary and I was in the middle of going through an experience of really shifting into that spiritual side of me because I'd burned myself out from real estate to still wanting to grow my business. But I didn't believe at the time that I wanted to be successful in Calgary. I really didn't believe it. And in fact, I didn't really want it. And so I was lying to myself because on paper it made sense. On paper it made sense for my business, for me to expand into a city and to do all the right things on paper. But in reality, my intuition, my mindset wasn't on because it wasn't really what I wanted. So sometimes the universe will guide you away from things because it's not meant for you. But deep down, you probably knew if it was meant for you or if it wasn't. So instead of trying to force things, trust how they feel. Trust the exterior guidance of the universe or higher power, but everything flows through you and you'll know. And when I started really connecting to the intuitive guidance, and I mean, this is something I still work on, and I've trusted other mentors and other teachers before me to utilize their proven tools. But as I really just quiet the external voices and I turn inwards, when I have a big decision to make in my business or there's a big decision to make in your personal life, if you really lean inwards and tap into how does it feel, instead of always focusing on logics, obviously in business, you need to have your analytics, you need to make a decision based on the information at hand, but you also need to really tune into your intuition because often, and I even think in real estate, often when we've probably all had clients like this in any business you're in, but there's a client, maybe they don't really connect with you. And right away, you just feel a little bit of resistance, but you're not sure what it is, but there's a little bit of resistance and hesitation. You don't feel like you're in alignment with something. Something just feels a little bit off, but you do it anyway because it's a business and you see, okay, I could make a sale here. I should show up for that client. I should do my job. But intuitively, you already know that it's not going to work out, but you do it anyway. Every time that happens, in my experience, I do that. Guess what ends up happening? They don't end up buying something or it ends up being the most stressful deal ever. And the money didn't outweigh what was there. So I wish I just trusted my intuition. So in business, yes, you have to have that balance between being in alignment with your intuition and your logics. But that's where it comes down to, again, your mindset. And they all intertwine in some way because when you're in connection to your mind, when you're in connection to your heart, when you can really link them together and be in connection to a higher power, you're going to see things flow differently. You're going to really be able to unlock parts of yourself in your personal life and your business that you didn't even know existed. So imagine what your life and business would be like if you could turn your beliefs into something that would empower you and that would match the goals that you want to accomplish. What would your mindset have to be like? What would the thoughts need to be like? What would you need to think and believe to be able to accomplish that? So when you start to focus on an abundant life and an abundant business, what does that mean to you, or what does it look like? Everybody has a different way of connecting. I know I like to visualize, but I like to think about it. Some people connect to sound, some people connect to feelings, some people connect to vision. We all have something different that we connect to. So it's really learning how to tap into what drives you. What is it that pushes you? What do you connect to? Because if I'm telling you to think about something, or if I'm telling you to envision what your life looks like, when you really want to write it out or you want to hear it and you connect in a different way, it's not going to ignite you and propel you forward the same way it would is if you really connect to what works for you. So it's figuring out what fuels you, what really ignites you, and what works best for you. but thinking about feeling, seeing, visualizing, what does an abundant business and life look like for you? What do you want? What does it mean to you? And then you can start to cultivate the mindset that you need to accomplish it. What beliefs do you need to turn those visions into reality? We need to have it so it's almost a mirror. It's a reflection of them. Because if you want something, but you're not in alignment with it, you're going to end up propelling it away. Where if you want something and then you can step into alignment and you can focus on being better yourself and becoming the version of you that's needed to accomplish those goals, then you're going to start to step into the law of attraction. You're going to start to elevate those pieces, the mindset within you that's going to attract it instead of propel it. So that's something they don't talk about in business school, is focusing on yourself, being in alignment with yourself, and being in alignment with a force greater than yourself. And so this is where you need to work harder on yourself than you work on your business, as Jim Brown would say. Now, when you really start to focus on those beliefs, it's about doing them over and over again, because magically, we're not just going to start thinking that way. It's work. Just like when we look at bodybuilders or anybody that's in really good physical shape, they didn't just decide that they wanted to lose 50 pounds and become toned and lean. They had to work for it. But first, they were clear what they wanted. Then they had to have the mindset that they were going to accomplish it. And then they put together a strategy on how they would. But when you look at that, it's work, right? So it's the same thing with your mindset. You need to work on your mindset. It needs to become a daily routine, a daily ritual of focusing on yourself, to becoming the better version of you, to strengthening your mindset, to really unleashing the potential that lies within you. So it's not just a thought anymore, that you're taking action on it. Because yes, knowledge is power, clarity is power, but action is power. If we just do the same thing and think the same way, how can we expect anything to change? Nothing will ever change unless we change those things. So in your business, what needs to change? What do you need to change? And this is the power of incantation. So Tony Robbins utilizes this. It's so powerful. It's an affirmation connected to a movement, because I know I've been like this before. When you know you have to work out, you've set a goal, but the thought of getting your ass off the couch and going to the gym, you don't want to do it. It's really hard. You get stuck in the couch. I've done it. We've all done it. We're humans, right? But now it's, as soon as you do get to the gym, you start to move your body, you start to feel better. And guess what? You're happy you're there, and you're in momentum, and you're in action. So that's the power of changing your physiology, moving your body, is you're going to start to expend energy. You're going to start to feel different and see it elevate, and it'll change your mindset, because they're all linked together. So what you're going to do is you're going to take that limiting belief, then you're going to create an empowering belief around it, an affirmation, and then an incantation is when you actually connect a movement with the new empowering belief. Because just like at the gym, if we can feel it, we're going to start to incant it in the body. So one of mine, when it comes to scarcity-based mindset to abundance, is I'm surrounded by abundance. Everything I need, want, and desire easily flows to me. And I bring my hands over my head and do a yoga sensal and bring everything to my heart. So I do that every morning, and I have a list of them. But this is the power of incanting it into your body, into your mind, into everything, so that you're in connection, mind, body, and soul. Now, then it's about integration, right? Consistency. We have to commit to something. We have to be consistent with it and do it every single day. Do it every single day. Do it when you don't feel like doing it. Because when you do that, you're going to start to be consistent. You're going to start to build discipline, and you're going to start to build a strong mindset, because your mindset's going to be what talks you into something, but it's also going to be what could talk you out of it. So you need to learn how to have this strong narrative. I'm thinking to when I ran on a treadmill for 12 hours. And I did this with a group of people. So initially what it was for the Lloydminster Health Foundation, which is awesome. It has a good group of people. And they said that we were going to run outside for 12 hours straight, and we were going to rotate runners in the middle of winter. So if you don't know Canadian Alberta winter, it can be up to -40. Sometimes it's freezing. But they asked me if I wanted to do this. This is something I always think in life we have to grow. We have to push ourselves. We have to set ourselves up for success by locking in a time, knowing what the goal is, committing to it, and then you just show up and have a strategy, right? So they asked me if I wanted to do this, and I said yes, because I knew I was going to be extremely uncomfortable. It was going to be hard, but it was going to push me out of my comfort zone and it was going to really show me what I was made of mentally. So I said yes. And if anybody knows me, they know I hate running on treadmills. Absolutely hate it. It's so boring. It's like you're running at a wall. At least when you're running outside, you can look around. There's things that you can really focus on, right? Where when you're on a treadmill, they call it a dreadmill for a reason. You're running and you're facing the wall. It's really freaking boring. But anyway, so I agreed to run outside. And then they decided, you know what? It was supposed to be really cold, like -40. How are we going to stay warm for 12 hours straight? So they changed it so that then we were running on the treadmill for 12 hours straight. We had 3 months notice to start training, and I hadn't really been running that much. If I'm being completely transparent, I was barely running, but I committed to it. They gave us a plan, and there was a group of us. This is the power of co-elevation. So there was a group of us. Some of them were seasoned runners who have ran death races, many, many marathons. And then there was others like me who'd maybe ran the odd half marathon, ran a little bit, but not a whole bunch. And we were a community. So there's a community of people that were going to show up for the same goal. We were going to show up together. We had a training plan. All we had to do was execute. All we had to do was work. So we followed the running plan for the next 3 months. And the night before the run, I'm not going to lie, I was so nervous. I didn't sleep. I honestly was scared that how am I going to run on a treadmill for 12 hours? I can barely run on one for 1 hour without being so bored I want to. So I ended up showing up. I wasn't rested. And my partner and I, we had running partners and we made a plan. So before we had a plan, we're like, let's just run 10 kilometers, walk 1, run 10, and do that for the whole 12 hours. Now, obviously, you're not supposed to get off your treadmill, but if you have to go to the bathroom, you can get off your treadmill. So I got off, I think maybe a couple times to go pee, and while you got off, somebody would hop on and keep running on your treadmill while you went to the bathroom, and then you'd come back on. And I was so happy to say that after we hit that first 10K, we're like, just keep going, just keep going. We ended up running 70 kilometers on a treadmill. So for 12 hours straight, we were on a treadmill and our bones were just grinding against each other. Like imagine you run on a treadmill, your hips, your knees, everything's grinding. We've changed our shoes a few times, put on different socks. And after the run, my toenails fell off, my feet were bleeding. But I will tell you one thing, that there was something really igniting about being in a community of people. While everybody's energy was electric, we were helping each other by motivating each other, by really using the energy of each other to push each other. We were co-elevating. We were pushing each other, motivating each other to really dig deep and unleash something within us. But it was our mindset. So at the end of it, I knew I wasn't in the best physical shape of my life showing up on that run. But while we were running, I kept, every time my mind started to falter and I kept thinking, I can't do this, I would listen to some motivation. I would turn on David Goggins. I would hear his voice saying, you can't hurt me. Or Ed Millett, that no one will outwork me. And I kept repeating that to myself. I kept using my incantations and repeating that to myself until it was already the last half an hour. We'd been running for 11 and a half hours. And I was watching people fall off the treadmills, not literally, but slowly getting slower and slower. And I just decided right then and there, I don't care. I'm going to lock in my mindset. I'm going to focus on my end goal, and I am just going to see what I'm capable of. And the feeling, I can't explain it, but I hope that you do push yourself to that point one day. And maybe you have in your life where you didn't think something was possible and you blew through the barrier anyway. Well, when we were running that last half an hour, as I'm watching people starting to struggle, I turned on my motivation and I was listening to it, and I just started repeating my incantations back to myself, and I picked up the speed. I thought, half an hour, fuck this, I can keep going. There's nothing that can stop me. My feet are hurting, they're bleeding, my toenails are falling off, but they can't take my mindset. I'm in control of my mindset no matter what happens. And I kept running. And by the time we hit the 12-hour mark, everybody was celebrating, and I can't explain the feelings that it was of knowing what you were capable of. When you think you can't do anything more and you think that you need to give up, there is something inside of you and a force greater than you that will help you, that will really show you what you're made of. And it's really, really, it's amazing to see what we're capable of if we set our mind to something. You can accomplish anything that you set your mind to. And the one thing that I'll still remember is I was so proud of everyone that did that run, because so many people showed themselves what they were made of that day. They weren't in competition with anyone else running beside them, but they were pushing new limits for themselves. They were showing themselves what they were capable of. And that was something for me too. I showed myself what I was capable of, that I was capable of doing way more than I even thought I was capable of. And at the end of the run, when everybody was celebrating, a couple of the guys came up and they were like, "Tennille, you're a machine." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" Because honestly, we all did the same thing. Everyone was amazing. They're like, "Honestly, when everyone started falling off and getting tired, we looked over at you and it was like you kicked it into high gear and you just kept going." And to me, I'm sharing this because I wanted to celebrate the fact that that is your mindset, my friends. If you set your mind to something, you can do it. I wasn't doing that for anybody else but myself. And it was cool to see that the external world, other people noticed that I took it to a new level because I tapped into my mindset, into the power of our mindset. So I want you to know that if you're going through something hard or you set a really big goal this year in your business or in your personal life, if it feels hard, just know that on the other side of the breakdown is a breakthrough. Just know that if you keep going and you just keep utilizing this self-talk that's going to push you there, you will get there. And also know that if you surround yourself in a community of people and you co-elevate with us, what you're doing right now, there is going to be an energy that is going to push you forward. You're going to be able to harness it, and you're going to unlock the pieces of your soul that you didn't even know were possible. You're going to be able to elevate your mindset on so many levels. And honestly, you're going to be able to ignite that purpose, that passion, that potential that lies dormant within you, because everything you need is within you. And again, I'm so grateful that you are here to show up and co-elevate with us today. But just remember, you can do anything that you set your mind to. Thank you for co-elevating with us today. If you found value in this, make sure you like and share it with your friends and family. And join our community by pressing subscribe. This is a space where we co-elevate, we'll inspire, motivate you, and push you to unleash your infinite potential and elevate your life and elevate your business with elevated results.